Hello and welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'm Nat and this is my Knackers Yard. Later videoing than normal because I met up with Mike this morning, lovely chap, and I've got his paddock stands, which is really good. I've only got one on because I only really want to hold it upright while I look at other stuff. He also did a lot of, basically had a muck out in my direction, which I'm really grateful for, try and avoid my shadow, and the stuff what he donated towards this project and potentially others. Just a set of rental bars there. 2 seconds, mate. The strut goes with it. Probably the first thing that I'm going to potentially use is a license plate hanger, which is really handy. Great, this is like Christmas, this, isn't it? A couple of sets of indicators, which are always useful. A couple of grips, or a couple of sets of grips. And that, no, I bought those on the way back, cutting discs. I've just used the end of mine. Some bar end mirrors, which are going to go on this, I'm sure. Some grips. Some bleed nipple covers, which are really handy. Mike, I don't know what they are, mate. What are they? I've not got a clue. Not got the foggiest. But hey, yeah, lovely chap. Wouldn't take any money for all of this, no matter how many times I tried. In the end, I did manage to talk him into taking a coffee off me. So we had a brew and a chat and a bit of a kind of a catch up in a service station, which is really nice. Right, so what's going on today? I finished the bleeding off camera. I want to sort that crap bolt off, but I don't think it's essential because I can bleed out through the pipes, which is fine. I've chucked in, I have raised the front end so it's a little bit more acceptable. So just literally undo the bolts, shimmy the whole thing up. I don't think that's end state, but it'll do for now. It's better. And I've also chucked on indicators that I had just lying around from a previous project even. So what am I going to do today? I think, because I can't really do anything with the carb, the in-laws aren't here with the hugger yet, I'm going to chuck the battery back in and just try and look at what I'm going to end up rearranging in that body to fit. Now obviously I've taken the arse end off, and I need somewhere to decently mount the CDI and the bits and pieces in the gubbins. So I'm going to take the tank off, plug everything back in and just move stuff about, put the battery back in and just see how it all fits together, I suppose, if indeed it does. Right, cool, be right back. Okay, so we're kind of at first stab here. A bit of bungee action for the battery with the CDI just tucked in. Don't get me wrong, this is nowhere near the end state, but it works. And I've got, now I have indicators. Well, it does seem I've lost a couple of bubbles in there, which is a bit annoying. But I have indicators. Hard to see in the strong sunlight and other statements you don't normally hear in the UK. There you go. Right. Now what? Now what I'm going to do is, I think, start looking at the sides and filling in. What I did look at yesterday was that was how it was. Not sure how much you can actually see, but come on, you bugger, clip in. That was approximately how it was. The arse hanging all the way back there. There's a potential in just reusing the back end of it, so I've got a little bit of a back. It has the advantage that the rear light cluster fits above it, so it's taking about a foot off the back. which I don't think looks too bad. But before I do any of that intellectual masturbation, what I need to try and do is sort out this lock that's just been bent and out of the place and everything, which is the seat lock. So I've got the lock mechanism over in a bag over there. I'm just going to go and have a look. And we have different mechanisms. So that's the broken one, which I have no key for. So effectively on there, through the hole with the lug on top. That's what I've got with the key. It is the full mechanism, and I'm either going to try and bastardise that on, which I think is a bit of a hiding to nothing. Yeah, which I'm pretty sure is a bit of a hiding to nothing. Or I see if the actual lock mechanism, which does look common, can come out of one and go into the other. So it's got 2 bolts in the back of there. Yeah, they don't look a million miles away. I think that's an evening job because they're going to need a good soak anyway. And I think that's a bit of a kitchen job. So for the moment, that will do. I'm just going to bang them all in that bag so I don't lose bits and nuts. And then I think I'm going to look at these sections here. Just chuck that seat on. I think I've decided pretty much that I'm going to go for the cut off seat, for the simple reason that, for one, in my humble opinion, it's quite ingenious, but actually it's more the fact that it's got the width across the arse to carry that bit of frame, whereas the calf doesn't. Charlie did suggest, you know, maybe cutting it shorter, but it's still that span isn't wide enough. It comes to about there, and you're going to end up with these bits really exposed, which I don't like the look of. That's my current thinking. Obviously when the hugger rocks up it might completely change my mind, but that's my thinking at the moment. So I'm going to have to cut this a little bit better and have a think about that back piece as to whether or not I slice that up and have a look. In fact, I might just trim this now and have a bit of a think on the rear piece. Yeah, let's get that done. Right, now I've got my stand out here to try and explain this, and let's see how we get on. Now, getting the original piece on, mounting it roughly where it was, that's the amount of real estate that we're essentially hoiking off the back. Now my view is if I make a slice there, I've measured the light cluster and it effectively fills up this back section. So if I make a slice about there, now that is wider than that, so it's not going to match, it's not even going to be close. But I think if I can get them together and then try and build them to the same distance, I don't know. I really don't know. I think the only way that I'm going to know is to try it. So it's effectively from pen. Stay. Right, so it's effectively from just beyond that bolt. So if I go to there, remembering it's easier to take more away than it is to add it on. If I take it to the edge of, effectively to that bump there, now I'm going to have a massive difference in width. But I think I've got fiberglass. I've wanted to give it a go. I think I can probably manage that. Right, so what is a straight angle? Best way of doing this. II is probably not the best way, but we can only give it a go, can't we? give it a go. What could possibly go wrong, eh? Right, not unsurprisingly, that hasn't worked. That's why we do stuff like this, isn't it? It's not the fact that I don't like that, it's the fact that the difference is really quite vast. Let's get a little bit more that way, I think. Oh, missed. There we go. The difference. But what I think I can do though is, if I even them out, I've got a really nice, like, straight flat surface. If I can mate it down that way, down, through both of those, I can just have it blunt. Which gives me a nice lump to stick the indicator on. And if I've got a flat plate there, yes, if I've got a flat plate there, I can mount the light on that. Not that one, a replacement one, a cheap one. So I think if I can straighten those two up to get them equal, because they're not quite, I've just had a hack at them so far. If I can go for a straight sheet of either metal or plastic, if I can cut it to mate with these surfaces, just do it as a square lump, it'll just make it look that extra square, which I think is going to look quite sweet. Well, it's just not, it's just going to look different. I kind of got off rebuilding the back onto it because all I was doing was shortening it. That's not the aim of the game here. I want it looking nuts. Not as in the nuts, I just want it looking nuts. I want it looking weird. And I think I'm getting there on that. So I reckon if I can find a way of evening those two off, that gives me a nice flat surface to just go straight down. Yeah, it gives me a flat back, which I can just do whatever I want on. I'd mount that direct. Particularly if, what am I trying to say? Let me find a way of this. Hello, mate, just tearing up your box there. So what I'm saying is, flat like that, all the way up to and covering the back of the seat, which might help cover some of the, obviously it's not finished, but yeah. Lighting me like it, and if I block that off, it covers up all of the. Right, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. First things first, I need to equal those off and get them nice and flat. So, I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. Yeah, I've got big enough sheets of that. So like that, flat across the back, cut round the profile, license plate mounted. Gosh, not quite so low as that, otherwise I'm going to hit the wheel, but yeah. Can you see that? I don't know how much you can see. How's your angle? Oh, not bad actually. Yeah, fuck it, that'll do. That'll do me nice. Just need to find a way of evening the two off together and try and cut them dead on, which is going to be hard. But if it was simple, anyone would do it. Right. Yeah, I like that idea. Right, I need to find a way of evening that. That is not far off, but needs to come more off the bottom. Get that straight. That needs to come off quite a lot, so I Find my pen. That's okay. That needs to come down at an angle like that. Not the most scientific principle in the world, but it works. Right, give that a go. Bit of trial and error. Well, I'm getting there on the cutting. I'm not far off. I think I just need another couple. This one needs to come in a little bit more to try and get it flush. I'm sure it's difficult to see with the light on the camera, but you know, that's not a million miles away. But underneath you can see I've got a hugger. Oops. That's the one that Steve found on Facebook for dirt cheap. It needs some either touching up or some cutting back, I'm not sure yet. Fits on this side. I'm going to have to make up a bracket on this side just to hold it up, so I'm thinking a bracket off the axle up, bend onto that, go behind there to make that bracket, and then up to the front as well. And what I might do is actually look at extending it all the way across, but look wise that looks cool. Fundamentally, yeah, like I say, I need to make up a bracket for it, but it looks cool. But I'm way off that. I'm way off that. I need to get this squared away, but you know, for 20 quid I can make that fix. Make that fit. Make that fit. It says. Right. Back of the garage for the moment. And I'm just going to carry on trying to whittle this back to get as flat a surface as I can, so that I can just get a plate or something across the back. So yeah, as much as that needs. So the way I'm doing this, sorry, and I'm not filming it because it's boring just watching me cut bits of plastic, but effectively I'm getting a line off with some tape, marking off where I think it is, get a line with some tape, and then work it out from there. And just, you can see roughly how many times I've done it. There's sort of 3 or 4 slithers on the floor, just doing bit by bit by bit by bit, and seeing what I end up with. Cool. Right, I don't think we're a million miles away, so what I have done is struggled with the slope on my driveway again. I thought I'd be used to it by now, and just chucked up a bit of cardboard, pen around the back, draw around it, and that's what I've ended up with. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a hack at that with my scissors. Again, I really, so it's pen on the outside, so I want to go the inside of the pen. If I'm fabricating anything or pissing around with anything, I like making practices out of cardboard, because it's cheap, it's disposable, you can cock it up as many times as you want without having to piss around with tin snips and slicing your hand open, which would invariably happen. You can cock it up as many times as you like because it's just cardboard, particularly if, like me, you happen to work right next to your bins. So just dig through the recycling stuff. And particularly like me, if you have another half who seems to live out of Amazon Prime, you've got shed loads of it. So I am literally just hacking away here, trying to go to the inside of the line. My kids killing each other. Yeah, inside of the line, because obviously it's a big thick pen and it's on the outside, but I can really cock this up as many times as I want until I've got what I need, and then I can transfer it over to whatever material I'm going to actually use. Now, if I had a nice big flat piece of plastic this size, I would probably use that, but I don't. So it may end up having to be metal. We shall see. Certainly not going to be cardboard, but like I say, while I'm working out what the hell I'm doing, it's as good as I've got. Right. Which way do I do it? That way. That ain't too bad. I've purposely done it in a separate section there. What I'm going to do is do another one for the back of the seat, and then just probably pop rivet it on. But I don't think that is too bad. Now what I could do is, although I've got indicators on the side there, I could go for flat indicators on each side, which might look quite cool. The other reason why I've left that top sheet is because I'm going to have to attach a rear light. Yeah, and it just gives me scope to cock it up a few times without cocking up the main bit. Right, I'm going to have a salvage around and see what I've got, because if I've got anything plastic, I think I would prefer to use it. I don't think I have, bar chopping up lids for plastic crates and boxes, which I don't really want to do. But that's the look. That might be me for today, because like I say, the in-laws are here. It's a bit rude to be out here sorting this out, so I think I'll knock it on the head there. I've got an idea, I'm going to run with it. My previous idea didn't work, but yeah, that's why you try these things out. And I'm happy. I quite like the whole really blunt edge look of that. It goes with the seat quite nicely. So I will do some scavenging around them. The simplest answer is I've got some checkerboard here, which is precisely what I'll probably end up using, but it's quite industrial as well. I do also have, I mean that's steel, that's going to be a bastard to sand down. Try and get a decent edge. Do have some aluminium sheeting, but I don't think it's going to be big enough, although it's nice and soft, so the edge will curve quite nicely on it. I could do it in two sections. Join down the middle. How toss is that going to look? I suppose on this, that join is actually going to be covered by a number plate, isn't it? So there is an option of using this. Making a left and a right. I quite like that idea. Yeah, I think it's going to be aluminium. It's quite thick actually, this stuff, but yeah, let me have a think. The steel's probably going to be easier, but don't know yet. I will have a tidy up and a think. There's no rush. Not going to do it tonight, probably do it tomorrow, but that's me for now. I'll catch you later. And as usual, I'm back, because I always come back. You should know that by now. When I say goodbye, I don't mean it. The mad professor strikes again. That is a lid off one of my storage crates out the back. I don't think that's a million miles off. It's just got a couple of bolts in at the moment. I think what I'm going to do is take it off and just try and secure it a bit better. A load of JB World just to try and hold it together, leave it overnight, and then just try and sand it back, make the edges a bit cleaner. But I am really rather happy with that. It just looks Frankenstein-y. It looks weird, and that's what I'm after. I want a weird looking bike. So just by way of indication, now the question is, I might have to firm up the suspension because I've got a lot to play with there. Play with that. Go for a slightly smaller plate or weak it up a bit higher. I might go for a bit of an arc, if you like, across the middle there, just to buy me some space. Slightly smaller, or even that. That's probably the way to get the angle, isn't it? So I think I'm going to look into some indicators that will fit on that flat surface, because it looks like it's going to look weird without something there, even if it's just reflectors, but it's going to need something. That means that I have a bit of space at the back there, so another sheet, probably metal this time because I'm going to want a slight bend in it to put the light on, and just to cover up some of the keck at the back there, some of the kick at the back, some of the keck at the back there. But yeah, happy with that. I need to do a little bit more securing, because obviously, you know, one bolt in it is nowhere near enough. A bit more securing, a bit of glue / filler, leave it overnight to do its thing, and then just sand it off and try and get a bit of a rounded edge around there. It's deliberately hacked, and it's deliberately hacked to overlap, just so that I can wick it back a little bit, but I don't think that looks too bad. But I think more importantly, look how weird that looks. RatBoy looking ratty and weird, which is precisely what I'm looking for. Happy with that. I had hoped to get the side feels in, but there's no point me doing that until I've worked out that lock piece. But yeah, happy with that. Right, this is a proper close down now. I promise I won't be back. Like I say, I'm going to whip that off and sort that out tonight at some stage or another, and I'm going to go and say hello to the in-laws. Cheers all, catch you later, ta-da.